Well, good evening and welcome everybody to this Bronco Nation live stream. We are so glad that you guys are here with us today. It's going to be a different one. So right now we've got Melissa out on the road participating in a rally, and she'll be in the chat talking with you guys and giving us some updates there. And Jordan is doing something very adventurous right now and testing out some of the trails at Bronco Off Rodeo Raptor Edition. So it will be me, and we will be joined by a guest very shortly, and then you guys in the chat. So we love hearing from you guys. I've got my devices out here so we can read your chats and see what's coming in. And we're going to have a fun time just hearing what your summer plans are, tell you guys about some of the events that we have coming up. I know that you've heard of some of them, but we'll do some reminders and talk about some of the news. So we've got a couple of fun things that we can go over that have been released today, even with the Bronco Wildlands firefighting rig. So we'll get right into it, and we'll welcome Jared Chavez from Project X, and we'll give you a little info about why Jared is here. So this is Jared. He is the Director of Brand Development over at Project X, and if you've been paying attention to the Bronco Nation website or even our past live streams, we have mentioned that we've got this new partnership with Project X and the Blizzard Box products that they have out. And we'll get to know Jared a little bit more, but, Bronco Nation is here to make owning a Bronco easier and more enjoyable, and we also are on a mission to make outfitting your Bronco more affordable, too. So we've got a bunch of partners that our Bronco Nation members can shop their parts directly on the website and be able to save just by being logged in. But let's talk to Jared. So Jared, welcome. Welcome to Bronco Nation
Thanks
live
for having
stream.
me.
I'm glad you are here. We attempted to have Jared last live stream, but you were out somewhere special. Where were you in the middle of America last 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, I was in Jay, Oklahoma at Mid-America Outdoors for Visions 2023. And if you guys have never heard of that, it's a very crazy, insane outdoor park that has been built basically by racers for racers. And, this particular event, we were there supporting Ultra 4, where we are the official lighting sponsor. And so they had the Ultra 4 race there. They had the side-by-side championships, UTV takeover. They had Great American Short Course. Nitro Circus was there. It was absolute insanity. And we were able to watch all of that from the lazy river big screen in the middle of the park. So it was something that I recommend everybody get out to at some point and check out.
So a little bit more action than we had here in the studio for our live stream, but you were there with Vaughn and Lauren and some of the Ford Bronco ambassadors, and that's how we first caught wind of you guys. You were at SEMA 2021. We were there as well, and you have done a lot of work with Funhaver and RTR guys and the development there. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about Project X and what you guys stand for, and how you got started into this crowd in the off-roading world. We've got that great Bronco behind you, so take it away, Jared.
Yeah, so at our core, we like to describe ourselves as an off-road technology brand, and we have a core group of products that includes, lighting, control systems, rock lights, headlights with cameras, and our Blizzard box. But really, we're trying to build an ecosystem that is easy for the end consumer to kind of install and control on their own. One of the things that I think we find in off-road in general is that we feel it's a very gate-kept hobby. And I think that Bronco and Bronco Nation and everybody involved with that has done a really good job of trying to open those gates and bring new enthusiasts into. But we still see that it's really hard for an end consumer to build a lot of the add-on things to their vehicle and do it in an easy way, especially when it comes to anything that's electrical or 12 volt. Even a lot of shops have a really hard time with that. So, kind of the genesis of our brand is thinking about things like, when you buy a new light for your house, you just plug it into the wall. And if it's a smart, product, it syncs in your ecosystem. And it's that simple these days. And why isn't it that easy in the off-road market. And not everyone has access to, a really high-end shop that they can get products done. So our goal is really to make products that are simple, easy, and smart. So, for the Bronco, we have a good amount of products being offered right now on the universal side, and fairly shortly we will have our direct fit application, which we've been testing, that include our bumper mount brackets with the HP70 high power lights, our roof racks with our freeform lighting on it, and then our Ghost Box control system that kind of controls all of these products together. So again, the goal is to create something that is easy for customers to use, that's smart, and brings a different dash of technology to the equation.
Thanks, Jared. So let us know in the chat if you have any Project X lights on your Bronco or the Blizzard box, or you're planning on get those. Midlands Motorsports had put in the article that they have plenty of lights on their Bronco. When is enough? What is enough lights, Jared? I think you said a light bar with 6 lights coming out on the top, and then you've got the ditch lights and more. What is the right answer on lighting?
I think for every customer, it's different. I think that if you're doing some light off-roading and you're doing a night run here and there, you don't need a ton of light. If you're doing something, especially the faster you're going, I think it's definitely important to have a lot more light. So, we like to do some fast stuff out here in the desert, so I run a lot of lights. But I think it's also just preference on what those solutions are. And we're trying to build solutions for everybody and what fits their needs.
And sometimes you just want a lot of lights. So let's get into some of the details about that. So if you are running a lot of accessories, let's talk about the Ghost Box and explain what that is to people, because it's really a cool concept. It's not something that you see anywhere else. You guys talk about industry first tech. So the Ghost Box allows you to control any accessory, not just Project X lights, from the app. And why don't you tell us a few more details on how easy it is to integrate some of those, maybe even easier than the aux switches in the Bronco?
Yeah, so the aux switches I think are great, and they're a great entry point for a new consumer. But I think the more accessories that you start adding, you start to see the limitations, especially with how many of those switches are really capable of handling higher ampage. Traditionally, with some of the aftermarket switch boxes, essentially you're going to have one central point that you're wiring everything to. And if you have, let's say something more set up where you have more components in the rear of your vehicle, like a fridge and your compressor, a chase light, etc., what you end up having to do is repeatedly bring wires back and forth from the end of the vehicle to the front. That experience, I think, one is that it becomes costly pretty quick with the amount of wiring that adds up. It's pretty tedious. And it also opens up a lot of area for failure points. So what we've created with the Ghost Box is something very similar to like a Philips Hue, if you get familiar with that, where if you have any kind of 12-volt item like a light or a compressor or anything like that, instead of having to run it to a central point, we've basically created these modules. I'll hold one up here for you. But the module has basically a power in, power out, and then a 40 amp and a 20 amp circuit in it. So you just run it in line essentially. And it wirelessly syncs into the ecosystem, and the keypad is wireless as well. You just have to tap it to power. And so it becomes expandable. So you can, if you only have one set of lights, you can basically just buy one Ghost Box module and wire that in and control it. Or it's expandable up to 24 modules, so 48 circuits. So if you only have things in the front of your vehicle, that may seem hard to grasp the benefit of it. But once you start putting multiple accessories around your vehicle, the value of it really quickly starts to be easy, especially as you're expanding things. So for instance, in this Bronco right now, next week, I am going to hopefully add a compressor and add a chase light that we are working on in the back of it. So instead of having to run a bunch of wires to the front, I have a stud in the back that I can, terminal that I basically am just going to attach the new ghost box to, and it will probably take me 5 minutes to install this ghost box, and it will wirelessly sync into the system, and I'll be done. So
that is pretty good.
It makes things very easy. The other thing that separates our system, because there are some systems on the market, and a lot of them are really good product that use wireless technology. We use a massive Bluetooth 2.4 wireless. So Bluetooth is used only for pairing, and the ecosystem is actually controlled and run by 2.4 gigahertz wireless, so it creates its own mesh network. So once the system is synced together, it's extremely strong. You're not going to see any failures out of it. In 3 years of the development of this, we've never had a ghost box lose connection. So the latency is extremely quick. A lot of times we'll get people in the vehicle and have them press the buttons, and then we'll tell them afterwards that it's wireless, and they immediately have this moment of disbelief almost, because there's no latency, there's no delay in it. And in addition to that, you aren't forced to use our keypad, so you can do it digitally fully. So we have our own app, and that was a big part of what we wanted to focus on with our product, because again, with a lot of options in the aftermarket, a lot of them do have apps, but I think that there's a lot of area to improve there. There's things that they're not super user friendly. We at Project X, we have our own app teams. We have a 16-person in-house app development team, so we're able to build a app experience from the ground up, with a focus on it being user friendly, so that once you have your hardware connected, we want you to be able to set up in detail your entire system in under 5 minutes. So we've created what we really want to be a user-centric, easy to use experience that doesn't make someone feel, gate kept and that they don't understand what they're doing, or it's hard to understand.
Right, and you had told me about an application where even if you want to use your fridge freezer in the back, you don't need the vehicle running anymore when you've got it wired in that way, and some really cool ways to, again, make it easier. Anybody in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Jared, you can drop them there. I do see Chris has mentioned that your Elite Optics. So there's a set of headlights that you guys produce, and they have the ability to record in 4K. And those are, you got one right here. Those are out of stock right now, sold out on Bronco Nation. So Chris had a question about inventory. Is that just for us, or are you guys a little bit back ordered on those?
Those should be back in stock now. So I think we just got another batch finished. So if they're not in stock, they will be soon. So that headlight is a 7-inch universal. So it won't direct fit into the new Broncos, but I know that we've been working with the guys like Mitch Creel over at Wild Horses, and we have those in a classic Bronco right now. They're really set up to be a universal. And our hope is that if that product takes off pretty well, we've already done some initial development to make a 6th gen Bronco headlight to match that as well.
So explain this concept a little bit. Where are you viewing the recordings? Does that go to the app, or?
Yeah, so what we really wanted to create was an app experience that was central and easy to use. So some of the downsides, limitations, I will say, to some of the experience with the OEM cameras is for safety. They turn off at over a certain mile per hour and stuff like that. But the way that we've set up the cameras in our ecosystem is they're standalone, and they run on their own, but then can be viewed through the app, either live streamed or to go back and view them, the footage that is physically on the cameras. So they record basically like a dash cam, and you can specify the time frames. So it's 1, 2, or 5 minute loops. and then you can click in it through the app to do a live view as well. So with the headlights, we have a 4K camera on one side, which is obviously the best one for pulling footage for later, and then we have a 1080p, which we have in there for live streaming. So if you're viewing it or anything like that during it, since you don't need that higher resolution, it does a much better job. It's easier, with the latency to stream it.
That is pretty cool. I want to see what the footage looks like. Do you have that viewable anywhere? Like on, I was checking out your Instagram to see if you've got some like.
We actually just posted one today.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That had like a little bit of footage of it, but then we also have some footage on our YouTube that we took of it. So it looks pretty incredible. I think that the difference between that and like a dash camera is really the field of vision on it. We went to Moab this last year and we did some extensive testing with it and getting some good content between a couple vehicles, and running dash cams, simultaneously with it. And a good example is like going up Hell's Gate. If you have a dash cam or a GoPro or something mounted, you kind of just end up getting this footage where it looks like you're staring up at the sky. But with the field of vision from the headlight, you get this like first person type of viewpoint, like you're walking up that obstacle. So it's something really different.
How does that work at night?
Well, the good news is because we have a lot of experience just in other areas of our company working with aperture and stuff like that of the lights, is that we're even with all of our lights, like on this truck, we have a similar setup on our Jeep. Turning on all of the lights on there is not going to affect the image quality. It's not going to blow out the aperture or anything like that. So you'll see a very clear picture still.
Wow, that's really cool. I'm going to go check that out on YouTube and Instagram after this live stream. And then one more cool thing about your lights too, and it was brought up in the chat for the article, is the ability to have the backlit option during the daytime running lights. So obviously, all of us who get light bars and ditch lights and all sorts of auxiliary lighting want the chance to use them, but you're not going to blast people out on the expressway with those and get pulled over. So the daytime running lights, tell us about that backlight option. I think that's kind of unique to Project X.
Yeah, it's to your point, I think that it's one thing to have some hardware on your vehicle, but you want to have some element of that you can express yourself with. And we think that our daytime running lights are very it's one of our signature pieces. So on the HP lights and the freeform lights, it kind of has like a smiley face type of DRL in it, and it's very identifiable. It's road legal as long as you're following the local area laws of probably it being below your headlights. But otherwise, we also have the Series 2 that's coming out that will have a full RGB positional light that basically reflects on the reflectors and creates a backlight type of effect to it. And that RGB experience will be programmable in our app as well. So, I think from the feedback from our customers is that's one of their favorite parts of it, and for us, like having some trail experiences of doing night runs and getting some good content of like looking in a review mirror and seeing all the DRLs from our customers and partners it's pretty cool. It's definitely a trademark kind of identifier for our product.
Yeah, and night runs are a vibe always. So I think you did one recently. You did it at Easter Jeep Safari, and then did you do one at Moab Bronco? Easter Jeep Safari is when you did the big one, wasn't it?
We did one at King of the Hammers. Mm-hmm. So, I think we had probably close to like 20 or 30 rigs on that one. And then we did another one at Easter Jeep Safari. And then we just actually did another one at Big Bear Bronco Bash, and then immediately after we did one at Visions as well. So that's a big part of what we're doing here, because part of one of the core values of Project X is to be involved. I think there's a lot of brands in this industry that make a product and they don't show up. They don't stay involved in the community. And for us, we want to build something that people can feel a part of and create opportunities for people to go out and use the products that we sell. So we'll be having more of those. I know we're going to do one actually at Crandon this year. In a couple of weeks, and then we're planning on doing one at Legends of the Fall at Lake Havasu that's the first week of November or last week of October, I believe.
Awesome. So 2 more questions for you. I think I know the answer to this one, but what is your must-have product from your lineup?
Oof. Probably the Blizzard box. I think that's kind of the most universal one for everybody, you know. And it's the things I think that people don't even realize of what's so great about it because, you know, for us, yeah, we all like to keep our beverages cold out on the trail and have some cold food and not have to worry about ice every day. And that becomes a big thing. But even in your day to day, when you realize like, hey, I can go to the grocery store and get cold stuff and leave it in here and not immediately have to go home because I have a fridge in my truck now is actually really super convenient. So I would probably start there.
All right, that's awesome. So I didn't even realize how great it was because I thought you were going to say the Ghost box. So you can't go wrong with a Project X or a Blizzard box product. So my last question for you, Jared, and if anybody else has anything else, throw in the chat. But sport. So you've done so much work with the Ford Bronco, and I know that you developed a lot of these products specifically with Bronco in mind, not just any off-roading vehicle, but for the Ford Bronco 6th Gen. Anything you can comment on future product for sport, or should we future product can't comment and use the Ford answer there?
No, I think it's definitely on our list here shortly. I think we're really focused right now in the next 60 days and finishing the mounting and direct fit wiring for full size Bronco. But we've done a little bit of work here and there and partnered with some people with Bronco Sport. You know, we did one with Nitto Tire, and they used a front bracket that they had developed with the 4 FF70s on the front, and it came out really good. It was really nice. And we did get to take that one for a little spin at Moab 2 years ago when they brought that out. So, you know, we're not neglecting that market for sure. And I think that we're definitely going to come out with at least a couple of mounting products and opportunities for that to, you know, suit those customers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jared, and thank you for being here on the live stream. We appreciate hearing a little bit more background information on the products, and we're looking forward to trying to do some install applications on our own Broncos here at Bronco Nation, and that Ghost box especially. People in the forums know that I can do starters and things like that, but I'm not going to be touching lighting, so that might be something I need on my own Bronco pretty soon. So I appreciate you being here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. So if you are not a Bronco Nation member, head over to the website and you can sign up there, and you'll be able to get access to very hefty discounts on a lot of products, from Ford Performance to Trail Racks to Roam to a bunch of different partners there. And then you get other access to things like Basecamp and even some epic adventures that we have planned. So we think it's worth it, and we hope you guys find it worth it to be part of this community. We love having this Bronco family that we've built together that we can go on all these adventures with. And I'm watching you guys in the chat and asking about things about trail rides in Arizona, and I've been in the forums today with some of you guys talking about some trips being planned. So I just love that part about Bronco Nation, where we can be all over the U.S. and elsewhere, since we are now global, but we can be all over, and then we can plan these great adventures together and use this one vehicle that brings it all together for us in a great way. So drop in the chat any summer plans that you guys have planned, or even fall plans, and we'll get into some of the events that we have coming up. Overland Expo P&W is next. That will be July 6th through 9th. So if you are still available in about a week and a day, come on and join us. And we have a few spots left for overlanding and glamping. And there, I believe, is a link in the description box to sign up for those. We'd love to have you. Melissa has a bunch of trails planned that she's worked out with some of the locals. So we've got Scott with his Raptor, that's a local, and he's been planning some trails, and we've got some all Bronco trails that are great for sports. So this isn't just for the big Bronco, this is for sports, this is for early gens, all of these events. We try to do stuff that's very accommodating to everybody's vehicle, whether you have, you know, a 1971 or something like that, that you don't want to get too much road rash on, or you've got a Raptor that's wide, or a Sport that It may not even be a Badlands, but we try to get some fun activities out for all of us. And at P&W, we'll also be doing some of those lifestyle excursions. So Jordan's got a fly fishing trip planned. That'll be good for beginners. You don't need to be a skilled fisherman. I don't even know fishing terms, and I'm not going to pretend to. So I know you need waders and a rod, and we'll help you get that all taken care of. So watch for some communications on that if you're attending later this week, and we'll get you all set up for that, and it'll be a lot of fun. And we've talked about going hiking and things like that on some of the other trips. So if that's something you're into, or maybe one of your loved ones that doesn't always like to sit in the passenger seat the whole time, maybe we can go out and plan some other stuff too. That'll be fun. So it's not just limited to off-roading here at Bronco Nation. We do cars and coffees and pizza meetups and all sorts of fun things. So looking forward to a good summer with you guys, but that'll be the first thing that we're kicking it off. And then Supercell Wisconsin, so this will be the second year for that. That'll be July 12th through 15th. And I have not had the pleasure of attending this, but I did see some people in the forums mention they're going, and I think that'll be a fun event for you guys. And that'll be coming up very soon. Yeah, we got a good list of people already RSVP'd there. And you don't need to RSVP on Bronco Nation site. You can just go to broncodriver.com, and they have the signups for all the Supercells. So I believe there are going to be 4 of them this year, and we've already crossed Townsend off the list. And then in the early September, there'll be Supercell West in Colorado. We also have Moab Takeover Day, Bronco Nation Takeover Day of Moab Off Rodeo, coming up on August 5th. And I do believe that's full, unless anyone's had the misfortune of having to reschedule, but we're looking forward to having a great time out there. I believe Melissa will be trail guiding, so you'll get to see her in action out there on the trails, and Brian might even be there as well too, trail guiding. And then Jordan and I will be there from the other part of the Bronco Nation side. So we're really looking forward to hanging out with you guys. These have been so much fun. We did New Hampshire just recently, and we mentioned it on the last live stream, but getting to see you guys in person after seeing your names on the forums for so long is just really special. It's fun for us. And it just, again, it helps create that deeper layer of family that we've got going on here, where you've got people to hang out with and enjoy your vehicle in fun situations. And then we will have one more takeover day coming up for Vegas. And we don't have the date firmly announced for that one yet, but stay tuned. We did mention near the fall. So we will publish that as soon as we are able, and we'll hope to have a good crowd of you guys out there. And then speaking of Vegas and the Bronco Raptor off rodeo that happens there, we'll hear some more of that pretty soon. We've got Jordan out there exploring right now, and I'm sure that they are having a fantastic time, as you do at Bronco Off Rodeo. I don't think you can go wrong with any of the Bronco off rodeos that you go with, but this one especially sounds fun for the people who like speed and desert racing, which would not be me, but I know there's been plenty of you Raptor owners that would love to do this, and even other trims of Broncos. Unfortunately, you will not be able to, but we'll get to enjoy your joy through social media and in the forums and in video on Bronco Nation very soon. So looking forward to seeing some more footage of that and hearing about people's top speeds. And I don't know. We'll just have to see what comes of that one. So if you haven't signed up for any of these events and you want to, head to thebronconation.com and go to the events tab. And you can hit the RSVP button on many of these, especially if they're the community-led meetups, but there are some that you'll just want to watch on the place where there's a link for tickets, like the Overland Expos, like the Supercells, where you have to purchase tickets and passes to get into those, and then you're welcome to hang out with us. So we will continue to put events up there. I see people in the community adding events all the time. So if you don't have one in your area, maybe this would be a great chance for you to make your own. And again, like I said, you don't have to go off-roading if this is something that you're not quite ready to commit to. If you just want to hang out with people, absolutely fine to do that too, and just put on a put on a dinner meetup or whatever you guys want to do. The calendar is there for you guys to use, and it's a great tool. If you don't know people in your area, you can send out automatic invitations to people and be able to invite people to your event without having to even know who's around you. And you can check out who's around you by using the member map too. So some fun ways to get to know people without having to, I don't know, just like leave a Bronco duck on people's parking lot, Broncos in the parking lot, or some of those things where you have the card and connect with them on Facebook, which is fine too if you guys are into that. So some other news that came out today was the Bronco Wild Fund. They donated the Badlands to the national parks to help with firefighting, like a command rig. So you guys have probably seen this in the forums. I believe Ragnar Khan put it up this morning, and a lot of the news sites have covered it. I added all the links in there in the article for you, so you can check that out. It's really cool. There's some great pictures, and mostly stock vehicle, other than adding on a factory-installed worn winch, and then obviously all the specialized equipment that they need there to make it easy for people who are in the first responders, the emergency services, the national parks, to be able to have a firm and reliable connection. So there's a lot of points of redundancy there in the network, and it will be a great use, it sounds like, to the park in just taking care of some of these wildfires that pop up. The vehicle looks great, and it kind of continues on this theme of firefighting rigs that we've seen. Ford has been active in that space for quite some time. I think over a century, it said, which would be like the beginning of Ford, almost. They just had their 120 anniversary. And Broncos have been parts of the National Park Service for some time, and I think Ragnar Khan put a picture of one of the older gens in the forum, so you can click the link and go over there and look at that. But we did see the Filson fire rig back when launch happened. It was before my time, so not completely up to date on all of the goodies in that vehicle. I have seen it parked in random spots throughout my career here with Bronco Nation, but there is a video at the bottom of that article too where Mitch Creel from Wild Horses does walk around on the Filson rig. And then there's also the BDS Bronco that they did a half cab with at SEMA, I believe 21, and I put that video in there too, and then you can follow those links through to watch the complete build if you guys want some inspiration for your own Broncos. I think it's great that it is a go-anywhere vehicle, and it makes sense for something that's so capable to be used in places where obviously it's remote, it's hard to get to. So let me know in the chat what some of your favorite parts of this Bronco or any of the other themed Broncos like this are, and what you might want to incorporate for your own. I know we have our own set of firefighters and first responders and people like that in the forums, and let us know what's useful and what you carry and those kinds of things that you would want to incorporate on your Bronco. And on that note, going back to some discussions I had in the forums today, you don't have to upfit a Bronco to take it off-road. Let me know in the chat, too, how many of you are comfortable taking a stock Bronco off-road and what you've done with it so far. When we were in Moab on Hell's Revenge, we had the pleasure of having Robert from Atlanta there in his Outer Banks, and I believe he doesn't even have the rear locker. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was an optional add-on for Outer Banks, and he had mentioned that he didn't have it, and he was excelling. It was awesome to watch, and completely stock. He's taken that everywhere, and again, tackled a level. Melissa, you let me know. Is Hell's Revenge a 5 or a 6? So areas that you wouldn't, like, I'll be honest, I didn't know the Outer Banks. Like, I kind of figured, obviously it's a Bronco. You're going to do great in it. If you can take a sport off-road to the places that we've taken it, I know you can take any trim of Bronco out there. But you kind of think of, it's the luxury Bronco. It's a great-looking Bronco, and it's got some of those finer touches inside of it. But you can off-road those stock just as well as you can pretty much anything if you've got the skill in there, and you've got a great line and some spotters, and Sure, you will get hung up on things, and it will be easier if you do have those hero switches that you can push and throw on your lockers and use your trail turn assist and things like that. But I have a non-Sasquatch Bronco, a Badlands, and it is, I am a little bit smaller than Sasquatch. I've got about 1.5 inches less of clearance, but I am not concerned about that. And I don't think you guys should be concerned about taking your stock Broncos off-road either. Obviously, we want to use common sense and best practices and all those kinds of things. Don't go out alone and respect the trails, of course. But I want to know what you guys think about. Did you feel like you needed to put on bigger tires, or did you feel like you needed a lift, or what parts did you feel like made you confident to go off-roading? Or maybe it was just attending Bronco off Rodeo, and maybe that was the one that kind of sealed the deal for you. Like, wow, these Broncos can do a lot. So Steve P says he's had his two-door Badlands non-SAS for about 6 weeks. He's going every week. Wow. Nothing too crazy, very capable. Yeah. And like I said, I took a Sport quite far. You do run into clearance issues, but that one surprised me too, and I shouldn't have been surprised. That's kind of like the theme here, is don't be surprised what your Bronco can do. So Joshua Dill said he's keeping mine stock for a while, and he feels comfortable taking it for basic off-road 4-door Black Diamond. Deal Me In for a 2024 says he's ripping and gripping mall parking lots across America, so that's pretty good. Project X Off-Road, so Confidence Booster is a 74 weld steering rack, so yeah, that's a much heavier duty one. Then you come with factory, but you can still one of the good ways to do it, so you're not spending a lot of money and just throwing parts at your Bronco, is to wait until you break something before upfitting. And also, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, like sometimes it's just fun. It's just fun to put accessories on, and if you have the means and the time and the wherewithal, sure, go for it, But I know there's been a couple scares throughout the lifespan of the 6th gen Bronco so far with various things here and there, but it turns out you can do a lot with these vehicles completely stock. So what else have you guys been putting on there, and what else would you feel like would give you that like little oomph to get out there on the trails? Maybe it's just going with a guided group, and that's where the events page comes in, where you can go out. I see Mark B, Gold Country Broncos. He does a lot in taking newbies out on the trail, sports out on the trail, and sometimes that's all you want too, is just, hey, this Bronco in this, they have the same trim as I have, and they're doing it. So let me just get in line and have a good time with these people. Local events are a really good way to gain confidence. So if you can't make it out to maybe one of the major events, or you're still waiting because you want to go to off-rodeo a little bit closer to when you actually get your Bronco, for those of you who are still waiting, so that information's fresh in your mind. I guess you won't be going on the trails if you're still waiting. Hopefully you get your Bronco soon. But we do think that's a fantastic way to, again, work your way up. You don't have to start hard. There's no shame in going on dirt roads and just getting a feel for how your tires grip and, the body roll and some of those feelings that are newer than just traveling down the highway. Let's see what else we've got going on in the chat. So we have people talking about some things that they are adding on. So technical disasters, front bumper, end caps on the steel modular bumper. Found some boulders on a night ride. Yeah, that'll happen. Sounds like you need some more Project X lights, technical disasters. I'm not sure where you are on your build. I'll have to catch up with you in the forums. But some of these things, Tim Kiley's installing an ARB breather kit. Oh, that'll be one of the first ones that I've seen installed. Skid plates are something that, too, a lot of you guys want to put on your Broncos right away, and that makes plenty of sense because you want to protect those important underbody components. So go out there and see what your Bronco can do. Obviously, if it's a daily driver, You know, we understand like nobody needs to just hammer it out there and not have something to get to work on Monday with. But you know, there's people who won't ever take their Bronco off road, and if that's the path they choose, that's absolutely fine. It's an amazing vehicle with the IFS for an on-road ride. We will miss you. We do enjoy being off-road with you, but that's fine too. So there's no shame in any way that you do the Bronco game, as long as you're enjoying your vehicle and you're having a good time with it, and we get to have you as part of the community in some way. We're happy, and hopefully you are too. So let's see what else we've got going on. This may just be a short evening. We can do a quick Ask Me Anything in the chat, but without my partners in crime, I'm not really much of a monologuer. And we do have, Jason's reminding me of the Woodward Dream Cruise coming up. Somehow I missed that on my list of events. I do have it written down. And this one is important because we have the Bronco Corral. And if you've been to the Woodward Dream Cruise, it's a massive car cruise in Michigan, thousands upon thousands of vehicles, and it is hard to find a parking spot. But not only do we have a parking spot, we will be with like 300 other Broncos right there off of Woodward. So if you go to the events page to Woodward Dream Cruise, it's in August in Michigan. You can sign up to the corral. So just let us know that you're coming. You can mark down which generation. All generations are welcome. Sports are welcome. Bronco 2s are welcome. So just put that information in there, and that'll let us know that you are interested in coming. And we'll look forward to having you there on Saturday for the full day. We'll take a lap. I would love to see all 300 some Broncos pull out into traffic and traverse down Woodward. So that will be a spectacle. But leading up to that, on Thursday and on Friday, we mentioned it last live stream, and we'll have some articles out on it soon and put it up on social media. We've got some fun stuff planned the days before. So if you attended last year, we ended up going to the Fairlane Estate and taking a picture of your Bronco there. And we did the picture in front of the world headquarters, and we went to MAP. So we've got a new set of fun activities for you guys to take part in behind the scenes, and so those sign-up lists will be coming. But right now, make sure that you're signed up for the Dream Cruise. We do have limited space. We are filling up extremely quickly, so if you're on your computer or your phone right now, just head over there and hit that RSVP and really fill it out through the link. You can hit the RSVP there too, but the link makes it official. So we're looking forward to having you guys there, and that one too, especially if your Bronco's a pavement princess, and again, that's okay. That will be a perfect spot for you to come join us. You'll be you can have it all buffed up and looking great. I got made fun of last year because I did not wash my Bronco beforehand, and this has been a saga for me now. Now I know that you wash your Bronco all the time if you work with Jordan Parker. So I've been having a cleaner Bronco these days, but yeah. So you can show off your accessories. There was someone last year that had tube doors, or they were actually donut doors that he had made himself, I think in partnership with Anderson, which they just released those. There's a news article on Bronco Nation about that. So show off some of the cool stuff that you've done, show off the things that you've added onto your Bronco. It's a great time to hang out with each other. People are setting up hammocks out of the back of their Bronco and chilling, and it's fun to watch all the classic cars go by, and looking forward to having you guys there. So that about does it for tonight. Always glad to have you guys here. It's so much fun to have you guys in person, but if this is how we get to see each other every other week, love it. If you are someone who likes to listen to these on podcast, you can find these on Apple and on Spotify. So those will go up on Thursdays. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys in an event soon and seeing you on the next live stream. So take care, you guys, and we will see you online.